help me or my child. Eventually, he found his way back to my bed. I had no choice. Now, the Diddy's lawyers are saying that things are getting leaked. I'm wondering if someone intentionally doing this so there can be a mistrial. Something to think about. Let's go on. Chapter 12. A Mama's Love. The calamity that ensued between the death of Biggie shook the East Coast. It rocked me as well. Sean could have stopped it. He was implicit in it. He was a contributor. He knew it was going to happen and didn't stop it. This was his friend. They were not nearly as close as he would have had the public to think, but still, as far as Sean was concerned, we were great. To the public, we were just having the off and on relationship of a normal couple. And I probably just seemed like a money-hungry hoe. But the truth is, I just got used to not having a choice. Today, I recognize it for what it was, Stockholm Syndrome. I was at his beck and call and had become comfortable with it. Quincy had everything he could ever want, with the exception, of course, of a normal parental figure. That is why this chapter is so powerful for me. A mother's love is so real. One night, I was out with my boyfriend. Yes, we were on again, and we were joined for dinner by none other than Miss Wallace. Sean looked over as security allowed Miss Wallace to approach the table and sit. Miss Wallace spoke with a smile. "Hello, Sean. Hi, Kim." I smiled the best I could. What a situation. For all intents and purposes, she is sitting with her son's killer. I hope my voice didn't betray my feelings as I said, "Hi, Miss Wallace." But Sean smiled also as he said, "Hello, Miss Wallace. What can I do for you?" When I got your call, it sounded urgent. He was able to appear as if he was smiling warmly. This was the creepiest situation in my entire life. She looked at Sean with pleading eyes. "I know this isn't your problem, but things have gotten kind of hard. I was hoping that you could send some of that money Chris made with you this way." Sean shook his head. "That's not something I can just do. There are attorneys and accountants. Can I maybe help you out with a little something to get you past the hump?" Sean reached into his pocket to dig for his wallet. "I haven't even seen how much Chris left. It's going on 2 years. Just how long is this going to take?" Sean sighed as he replied, "These things are difficult, Miss Wallace. I don't know. The attorneys don't make this easy." Miss Wallace pushed further. "I don't understand what's so difficult. He worked for you. He made his money. Where is it?" Sean shook his head as if saddened by what he was saying as he continued. "It's not like I can just give you his money. You're entitled to certain amounts, and they are just trying to figure out what that amount is. I don't mean to sound cruel, but it wouldn't be fair to me to just give you tons of money. You got rich off my son. Now you're keeping all of his money?" Sean kept his cool as he replied, "I'm afraid business isn't cut and dry, Miss Wallace. I pay for publishing, publicity. In all actuality, if I'm going to be straightforward, Miss Wallace, Chris probably owed me money. I won't know until it's all worked out." The anger in Miss Wallace's voice barely overshadowed the pain, or perhaps it magnified it as she uttered the only words she could muster, "You bastard." Sean didn't flinch. He just said, "Look at the contract. I am honestly trying to get him as much as possible out of it. But I have investors. I can't just take money that doesn't belong to him and start giving it away." Miss Wallace exploded in response. "You know good and well Chris didn't owe you a damn thing." Sean stared her straight in the eye, unwavering, and said, "He would have started making a profit after a few years. His money until his album sales paid for studio time, music videos, publishing, and marketing would have come from doing shows. I'm sorry, he isn't here to make that money. I miss him." Her response was deadpan. "Did you kill my son?" Momentarily stung into silence, Sean didn't immediately respond. She asked him again, her voice quivering, "Did you?" He started to say, "Miss Wallace." She would not be redirected. "Answer the question." I was not used to seeing Sean on the defensive. No, of course not. She looked at him with spite, the anger in her voice enough to send shivers up my spine. As she replied with a menace only a mother can, I don't believe you, Sean. Sean looked at her with a sadness that I knew in my soul to be fake. Although looking at him without context, anyone would believe him as he replied, I'm sorry to hear that. Today I know he was able to muster that false sincerity because he's a sociopath. Back then I thought it was compassion. With no more words, Miss Wallace stood and left. Sean watched her exit with disbelief. Not knowing what to do, I placed my order. Dinner that night was long and silent. I feared for Miss Wallace's life. Sean is most dangerous when he feels threatened. No, she could not physically threaten him, but this threat was very real. If she goes public with her accusation, Sean's image would be damaged. I have felt for myself the extents he would go to in order to protect that image. Chapter 13, have some faith. The fact of the matter is, Sean was a complete control freak. He was absolutely the worst. But of all the things he did for control, this might have been one of the most despicable ones. We were in a bad boy office one evening, sitting in the lounge area, enjoying a meal. Sean was smoking one of those big cigars he liked when Faith entered and sat down with us. She seemed relaxed as she said, "Hey guys." I smiled. I never had any bad vibe from the marvelous Faith Evans. We never talked about the wild time the three of us shared at one of Sean's parties. I gave her a hug. "Hey girl, what's up?" Sean smiled and asked, "Hey, what brings you out?" She addressed Sean saying, "Look, when you asked me to hook up with Chris, I understood. You needed to control him. I felt honored that you would choose me to monitor one of your most valued assets. Chris is sweet." Sean laughed and said, "Honestly, I knew you would be good." Made the big man feel loved. "I don't feel good about all this, Sean." Sean got that look in his eye he gets before he blows his top. Faith saw it also. She treaded carefully. "Sean, you know I'm as loyal as they come." Sean leaned forward unintentionally threateningly and said in a low tone, "Yeah. But Sean, Chris and I had a child together." Sean leaned back. He let out a deep breath. "I'm going to take care of you. You're not like Chris. You're loyal." Faith had a tear in her eye as she responded, "He didn't have to die." This is getting very touchy. Did she know? Did she suspect? Was she trying to find out if Sean intentionally killed Biggie? I wanted to ask, but of course there was no way of doing that. This is so crazy. Sean sighed and replied, "He didn't. Don't get me wrong, I miss him. But he was leaving me anyway. No one cares about my pain." Classic narcissistic Sean. It's all about him. I was sickened for a moment, but his next sentence made me feel for him anyway. I wanted to share all this with him. He was my man. Faith couldn't hide the anger that flared in her eyes, but she knew who she was talking to. She was careful as she spoke. "Sean, you have your friends you share things with." Sean sat forward again, this time with malicious intention as he queried, "What the F is that supposed to mean?" "Chris had no one, only you." Sean lost it. "That fat F and that other piece of ish I had you F?" I interjected in shock. "You had her F, Pac?" Sean glared at me as he answered, "Yes, F and Pac. Those MFers were going to try to start their own label and compete with me." Me, after all I did for that fat F? Nah, I wasn't using resources to protect that mother effer. No effing way. As Faith started to cry, Sean looked at her and softened slightly. He spoke a little calmer. "Look, I didn't hate him. I was hurt. But I didn't hate him. I'll make sure you and Tyshawn are taken care of." Without words, Faith got up to leave. As she turned, Sean spoke softly. "Faith." She ignored him. He called her again. "Faith." She exited quickly. Sean just looked at me and said, damn. I really didn't know what to say. Sean just told Chris' ex-wife and daughter's mother that he wouldn't protect her husband because he was going to leave Bad Boy. From a business perspective, I didn't disagree with Sean there. If you're leaving and creating competition for him, why would he spend resources on you? So I hugged Sean, but I also knew he didn't have to send Chris to California. I wondered if he realized that he sentenced him to death. He hugged me back with tears in his eyes as he asked, how the F am I the bad guy? Huh? I effing do nothing but bust my ass to make everyone live comfortably, and I'm supposed to just let ends walk all over me too? As I held him in a comforting embrace, I replied, no, baby. He took me right there on the couch. Like I said, Stockholm Syndrome. Chapter 14, Outshine. This evening, I was at Sean's house. Snoop had just left for his Patna see ya cuz. Oh, I don't remember this. Let's go on. Quincy was at a friend's house. It was some alone time. I don't remember if we had something planned. We were just having drinks when the doorbell rang. He went to answer it, and the yelling could be heard from the other room where I sat. It was definitely Jennifer's voice shouting, Sean, what the F? J-Lo barged in. Relax. Why the hell did you have to start shooting? Isn't that what we have bodyguards for? Normally, when these kinds of situations arrive, I remain quiet and just listen. I play my position, you could say, but I wasn't paying attention to the news for the last day or so, and even though it would be the only thing anyone would talk to me about for months, no one has spoken to me about it yet. So I entered the foyer asking, what's going on? Jennifer exploded at me. What's going on? This end just shot up the damn club. My jaw dropped looking back and forth between the two. Sean spoke soothingly. Jen, you gotta calm down. Jennifer was having none of it. She continued, calm down. You shot at a bunch of innocent people, Sean. Sean placed his hand on her forearm. It's a bonding technique. He was shrewd in handling her. He does this to me too. Even if you know what's happening, it works. It's an intimate contact without being personal. He was aiming to disarm her. This did not seem to immediately sway Jennifer as she continued. Why the hell do you think Biggie's replacement will take the fall for you? Biggie's replacement? Wait, could she be talking about? I had to know. Are you talking about Shine? Jennifer didn't even look at me as she responded. Yes, effing Sean. Sean continued in a calm voice. Relax. The situation's under control. Jennifer was not coming down. She went on. They contacted my attorney for my statement. And there are a lot of witnesses, Sean. There's no way you're going to get away with this. Sean's arrogance can be immeasurable at times. He laughed as he asked, you doubting me? I couldn't believe it. I had to know, Sean, what could you offer him that would make him do a bid for you? Like, what the F? Jennifer also remarked, and what if he falters halfway through his sentence and starts talking? Sean responded as calmly as ever. He won't do that. People in jail don't cross connected people on the outside. Jennifer looked deflated. So, you'll kill him too? How much does she know? Look, I'm not going to threaten anyone. Shine is smart and loyal. He knows how it works. And when he gets out, he'll be well taken care of. Jennifer spoke defiantly. Sean, they want to question me. I'm not perjuring myself. I am not going to jail over this. Sean looked so in control. I admired him for it at that point. My spirit was broken. I felt bad for Jennifer. She catches one bad break after another, and this was a really bad break. Sean spoke with confidence. Relax, come in and have a drink. Have your lawyer call mine. You'll never see the witness stand, I promise. Jennifer wasn't so sure. She asked him, how can you possibly know that? Sean smiled, then he replied, between Shine's confession and the witnesses that gave their accounts, the cops won't need much else. The statement from your lawyer will be fine. Jennifer's next concern popped up. She explained, my attorney, Sean, he's good, but he won't do this. Beaming with confidence, the way only a man with his network can, Sean responded, sure he will. Jennifer shook her head defiantly as she responded, Sean, you don't know him. Sean's unbreakable confidence was ruling the day. Jennifer was giving in as he told her, with a smile, I got this. Sean, are you sure? Sean gave her a wink. My attorneys handle situations. Give him my number too. Jennifer seemed leery as she asked, you're not going to threaten my attorney? Sean laughed as he replied, no, of course not. Money talks, baby. He turned to me and said, take her inside and pour her a drink. I had questions of my own, but you were going to make Sean the label go-to man. What are you going to do now? Sean looked disappointed as he responded, he had the voice but his flow. He sighed, well, artists with his talent are a dime a dozen. Looking at Jen, he continued, he's not a once-in-a-lifetime find like Jennifer Lopez. Now he's throwing on a charm. Despite the situation, she blushed slightly. Sean continued, let's grab that drink. Let me handle this attorney situation. Relax. Don't worry. We left the foyer and went to have a seat in the living room. He tried to make a threesome happen that night. It didn't work out. Not that day. Kimora and I went out to have drinks. She was looking at me seductively and I was turned on. We were going to go back to my place after. Suddenly, after a sip, I had to vomit. I excused myself and barely made it to the ladies' room. When I came back to sit down, Kim asked, you feeling okay? I'm fine. I have been under the weather the last couple of days. I think I'll head home. She said, your breasts are looking kind of plump there, girl. Embarrassed, I whispered, not in public. She replied simply, you're pregnant. I was taken completely aback. Why the hell would you say that? She let it sit there for a minute. I bet in her head she was like, wait for it, wait for it. Then it hit me. Ish. She gave me a minute before continuing. So what you gonna do? I didn't understand. Gonna do? If it's not Sean's, F. If it is, with the shock wearing off, the scope of the situation began to take hold. I responded, I better get a test. She looked at me with pity. Damn, girl, good luck. After what he did to Chris, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. The desire that was in her eyes before I got sick was all but gone. As I began to stand, I realized what she said to me, and I paused. She looked at me flatly and said, ain't nobody stupid, girl. I didn't know what to say. The question still lingered in my mind despite everything I knew. Did Puffy intentionally kill Chris? She brought me back to the moment by saying, go. Not knowing what else to say, but knowing I had to deal with my situation right now, I replied, I'll hit you up. She sighed and simply repeated, good luck. I quickly left to get the test. Chapter 16, Christian. The next day I was sitting on my couch, deep in thought when the doorbell rang. I went to let Sean in. This is going to be scary. We made our way back to the living room and we sat down. Quincy was asleep. Sean seemed legitimately concerned. What's so urgent? I didn't know what else to do. I just blurted out, I'm pregnant. The air in the room was as thick as J-Lo. He was quiet. What is he thinking? He asked the obvious question, are you sure? I spoke rapidly. I was on a pill. I'll get rid of it. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to know. That's wonderful. This is great. I was so confused. Huh? You're not mad? He laughed. Mad? No. Why would I be mad at this wonderful news? I'm going to be a dad with the woman I love bearing my child. What could possibly be better? He jumped right on the phone and called one of his besties. I could hear Will congratulating him. Sean said, yeah, definitely. Hold on. Kim, baby. I was still in awe of the fact that he didn't get angry. And yes, I will admit, I was sure he was going to hit me. So it was with relief when I replied, yes. He told me excitedly, we got to have a party. His excitement was contagious. I was getting really excited too. Yes, a gender reveal. And yes, of course, we're going to do all that, but everyone is going to want to sleep with you right before you give birth. My heart sank in my chest. Everybody is going to what too? Sean went on with the same excitement. Well, not everybody. You know, Will, Jada, Snoop. Sean, I'm having your baby. He verbally waved me off. It'll be fine. I couldn't help myself. I began to cry. Sean grew quiet on the phone, then spoke low. I'll call you back. He hung up and took me by the hands. Baby, I never asked anything from you. I tried to see him through the tears streaming down my face. I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth. I tried to speak. Sean, I provide everything anyone could ever want. Do you want for anything? Sobbing, I replied, no, but... He continued, this is the kind of thing I have to do in order to continue giving you this comfortable lifestyle where you live in the lap of luxury and get to be on TV shows and in movies. I know you don't want this, but do you want all of this to go away? A whimper is all I could manage. No. He continued softly. Then we got to do this. I said, but Sean, I don't believe in all this spiritual crazy-ish. We got here because you're brilliant, not because of sex parties. He replied, do you trust me? I did. My soul was so broken. I did. I responded, yes. He sighed as he said, then let's do what we need to do to keep what we have. He pulled me in to hug me. Thank you, baby. We're going to have a beautiful baby. He ordered me some food, and that night I cried myself to sleep. I was going to be gangbang at 9 months pregnant. I want my children out of this life. My child's going to have a good God-like name, a Christian name. They are not going to take his soul. And here's what I have to say now, reading this over, in my mind what he say? Do you want to keep this? This is what we have to do to keep this. He wasn't talking about doing this to please man. He's saying spiritually, this is what they have to do spiritually. Oh, God, this is some dark evil. Let's go on. Chapter 17, Broken Promises. I don't know how this managed to stay out of the media for so long. Sean got to the point where he was incredibly abusive and only his inner circle knew. The artists were all too afraid of him to say something. He had gained so much power, no one would say anything. Puff Daddy was a kingpin. Monday afternoon, Quincy was in school. Our son Christian was with the nanny. I still had to make a living. I still love the camera and had just been cast for a new movie. Sean was coming over to celebrate with me, just the two of us. I was in the bathroom when he came in. We were going out to eat. He was in a foul mood. Sean yelled, "What the F?" I would have to walk on eggshells. I came out of the bathroom to find him holding flowers. I smiled. "You brought me flowers?" Puff yelled, "No." "So who the F are they from?" I was bewildered and told him honestly, "I don't know. Probably just a fan." He threw the attached card at me. I picked it up and read it. "Sean, He slapped me so hard I hit the ground. Sean yelled, "Who the F were you with the other night?" I looked down at the card that was lying on the ground next to me that read, "The other night was amazing. We must do it again. Ish." I tried to explain. "Sean," he threw the flowers at me. "That's not how this works. You have my child. You don't touch anyone unless I allow it." I yelled back, "It was just coffee with the producer. It was nothing." He glared at me as he asked, "Who the F is this producer?" I was trying desperately to calm him down as I responded, "From the movie, babe. Calm down." He picked up my coffee mug and slammed it against the wall. Coffee flew everywhere while he yelled, "Who the F is this Ian think he is?" Sean, he's just some producer. We talked about the role and me maybe starring in another movie he wants to produce. I swear that's it, Sean. Sean exploded even more. He wants to put the move on my effing family at the top of his lungs. My effing family? He flipped the table over, breaking it. It was a heavy table. Sean is stronger than he looks. I pleaded with him. Sean, please. He yelled at me, what? I tried my best to calm him down. He probably didn't know. It didn't come up. You're publicly dating someone else, so he screamed at me. It somehow seemed even more intense. So you didn't tell him to back off? Sean, I didn't. He hit me with a chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in the hospital room. My arm was in a cast hanging from a sling. My face hurt. My eyebrow was in immense pain in my lip. As I came to, the face I saw was the man who put me there. Sean asked with concern in his voice, how are you feeling? I responded, stay away from me. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. I save it for the lawyers. Stay away from me. We were in a private hospital room. No one could hear me. I screamed like my life depended on it. If I didn't ring for assistance, I would not get none. He kept going. I was just so jealous. You know how I am. He took hold of my left arm, the one that was not slung up in a cast. You have our beautiful son, our family. It's just, at that point, I had enough. The one you slutted out right before giving birth? Are you effing shitting me? Stay away from me. Don't come near me or my kids. He continued to plead. I'm sorry, baby. I promise I'll never put my hands on you again. I swear. I've heard this song one too many times. I spoke through gritted teeth. If you come near me or my kids again, I'll call the cops. A flash of anger returned. You will use my kid to threaten me? But then he caught himself. I understand you're angry. I glared at him as I cut him off. I'm serious, Sean. He spoke blandly with no energy. And tell them what? That you had a car accident? They'll pity you. That you hit your head? He was going to make me look crazy. They were going to believe him. He was a kingpin. You're an effing bastard. Sean spent the next 6 months helping me heal, working his way back into my life and into my bed. I was so damn stupid. Of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understand, the producer died of pneumonia anyway. Chapter 18. Sweet goodbyes. Sean kept his word for the most part until he didn't. I ended up pregnant again. He wanted energy from that too. That will be my last sex party. My body will never be ravaged by so many people again, especially while I'm pregnant. What if something happened to the twins? After this, who thinks of putting in a character that gets gangbanged while they're pregnant? I think you don't want to believe it's real, because all the idols that you put on a pedestal, you're going to realize that they pissed in your face because they're nothing but men. Disgusting men and women. After that, I wanted out. But when I tried dating someone else, the guy ended up dead from pneumonia. I knew Sean was behind it. This was not a coincidence. He gets jealous of a guy, they die of pneumonia. I could be next. If I'm going to get out of this alive, I'm going to have to do something to make him stay away from me. I had a plan, but it's dangerous. Sean has a vault where he keeps videotapes of all his conquests. I started sleeping with him again. After he falls asleep, he was starting to drink heavily. I would get into the vault and get a couple of tapes, take them home, make copies, and swap them for the next set of tapes a few days later. It took weeks to get them all copied. He never knew. And I had it, my way out. Some of the tapes had things I would never have expected. The gay parties are one thing, but the young boys, Usher, Little Bow Wow, Justin Bieber, I would have never known. My God, is he grooming Quincy? This has to end. I invited him over one day to confront him and to put an end to our on-again, off-again relationship. He entered my home unannounced for the last time. He would no longer have the key after today. I was in the kitchen. Kimora and I were sharing drinks. I was scared to face him alone. Sean entered smiling. "What's up, Kimmy?" "Hey, Mora." I told Sean, "Sit down." Because of my tone, he looked at me stunned and asked, "What's going on? What is this?" I responded with delight. "Me taking my life back. We're done." "Nigga," is what she should have said. "Let's go on." He answered, "Hold on, wait a minute." I was so excited I wasn't hearing any of it. I shouted at him, "No, no more. This is effing over." He looked confused as he asked, "Where's all this coming from?" With disgust, I said, "I got the footage, Sean." He looked even more confused as he inquired, "What are you talking about?" Kimora said with revulsion, "Usher too?" Sean said, "Wait, what the F is going on?" Sean stood aggressively. Kimora responded, "Don't make me call the cops." Sean's anger was creeping in as he replied, "This is how it is?" I simply nodded. "If anything happens to either one of us, it gets released." He seethed as he queried, "After all I've done for you?" I don't think I was ever so happy as when I said those words, "Get out." Angrily, he started to leave, looking back with pure hatred. As he walked down the stairs, he turned around with fury and lunged at me. He knocked me down near the top of the stairs. I was hurt. Kimora screamed, "Stop!" As he began to crouch over me, I kicked at him, hitting him in the knee, then the face. He went tumbling down the stairs. He was too hurt to get up. I called the cops. Kimora left before they arrived. When he left, it was in an ambulance. I felt empowered. I felt safe. Deshaun Combs' days had finally come to an end. Chapter 19, the finale. Things were okay for a while. I started dating again. It was almost normal until I got serious with someone. Then my boyfriend died of pneumonia. I knew it was Sean again. That's when I decided to write this book. A few days ago, my home was burglarized. Only laptops were stolen. I know it's that bastard. Of course, I had a copy in the cloud that I was able to easily download here on this new computer. As I continue to write now, I'll send this into the cloud as well. I will send out copies via email, and my Google Drive password will be attached so the missing chapters can be assessed. The book must get out. There are so many more chapters to add. This outline is a great start. I have to organize the rest of the chapters and add them in little by little. I actually planned on spending today working on exactly that until I met up with Kimora. But I'm not feeling well. Thank God the kids aren't here this weekend. I can rest. I called Kimora to cancel our plans. When I spoke to her, she said, "Girl, that don't sound like no flu. You want to go to the hospital?" That didn't immediately alarm me. I told her I just need some rest and quickly got off the phone. But why can't I get my doctor? Why won't he pick up my phone? Oh no. I called Sean from my bedroom where I'm lying here in my bed. All I could think about was the kids, my babies, who are with this monster, the man that I now suspect of having done this to me. Sean picked up with an air of superiority in his tone that let me know it was too late for me. He spoke confidently into the phone. "Hello?" I screamed at him, "You bastard! I have your effing children." "What are you talking about? The kids are with me," he replied with a mocking innocence. "There's literally nothing I can do. I could only ask, did you ever love me?" Instead of answering the question, he responded, "The most important thing to me in the world is loyalty." I can't believe it. I had to ask even though I understood. What the F does that mean? With the same feigned innocence he mocked, "Kim, is something wrong?" He's going to continue this game to the bitter end. I asked one last time, "How could you?" Again, with the narcissism I had now come to despise, he responded, "How could I?" "Do what? I gave you everything. You went to someone else. You left me just like everyone else did. You ask, how could I? How could I what? I yelled, look what you did to everyone around you. There was only anger in his response. So you're saying everyone leaves because of how I am and you were going to expose me? He had me burglarized. I knew it. I shouldn't have threatened him. I should have just published a book. I'm going to die like Heavy D, like Biggie, like Pac, like so many others, and it's because he is the monster. Before hanging up, I said simply, that's not the only copy, you F. I hung up and shot up a group text. I let everyone know he got me. Then I called 911. As I sit here waiting for the ambulance, I am writing this chapter, praying that I make it to the hospital. I don't feel like writing anymore. I don't think I'll be around to see it in print. It's okay. I'm sending it out. He won't get away with this. The world would know. Sean Combs, you are going down, you effing bastard. Now I'm going to read the party notes. I'll be sure to reveal why he felt Kim was running from Sean, and initially everyone felt he was seeking attention. However, numerous comments and allegations are coming from multiple sources that just may prove his statements have validity. Kim Porter shared twins with Sean, and she was constantly battling to maintain custody of them. Kim was writing a book about her life with Sean that allegedly included abuse, infidelity, and numerous wrongdoings. In the alleged book, it is said Kim went into detail about everything that happened in her life with Sean, from physical and emotional abuse, wiretapping, being watched and followed by paid personnel, and only being able to maintain her twins because she threatened to expose him if he attempted to take them from her. It has long been speculated that Sean swings both ways. Kim states he required her to wear a strap-on when they had intimacy. Kim also allegedly approached Andre Harrell about Sean's intimacy with him, which was denied. However, it's rumored she had evidence the two were more than just business friends. Allegedly, Kim had quite a bit of footage of Sean with numerous men, validating the rumors that have been circulating for years. Sean had a reputation of publicly humiliating Kim with other women, bearing children, one even being pregnant at the same time. The world knew the Sean-Kim Porter relationship was far from sweet and innocent. In fact, it was easily labeled as toxic. Kim's family has threatened to file a wrongful death lawsuit, feeling natural causes was not the reason for her death. Numerous exposés have questioned the cause of death and the location of her body when she was found. Kim had pneumonia and was said to have died peacefully in her sleep. But it's been said there was blood found on her pillowcase and on the bathroom floor leading to her bedroom. Allegedly, Kim was found unresponsive in her bed, but she was discovered on the bathroom floor. So the question remains, who placed her in her bed? Reports from the original coroner supposedly said there were toxicants found in Kim's system and suspected foul play. An anonymous person said Kim's last phone call was to 911 at around 2:43 a.m. and she was found the next morning at 11 a.m. The next page, which is the last page, says, "My name is Kim Porter. I was born in Columbus, Georgia on December the 15th,